Narayanam namaskrityam Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Mudirahe
Tato Jayamudirahe
Prayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu
Nityam bhagavata sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Seva
Bhagavati uttama shloke
Bhagavati Uttamam Shloke
Bhavati naishtiki
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki
Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter number 7, text number 35. Just posting it in the link chat. Mainam partharasi tatram brahma bandhunam bandhum imam jahi yosava anagasya suktam avidin nishi balakan. Translation purported by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Lord Shri Krishna said, "O Arjuna, you should now show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep." Purport: the word Brahma Bandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of Brahmanas but not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahmana. The son of a High Court judge is not virtually a High Court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a High Court judge's son as a relative of the Honorable Justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a High Court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by the birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualifications of a Brahmana. As a High Court judgeship is a post for a qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by qualification only. The Shastras enjoin that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in a family of Brahmana is void of Brahminical qualifications, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, a relative of a Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he is about to explain the reason for this in the following verses. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashvakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-Manobishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupakalamayam Dadati Swaya Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatagaunam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupam Sakrijatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sha He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapade Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavani Shri Vishabhan Sute Devi Pranamami Haripre Panchakalpadra Vasindebhya Vichapaitanam Pavanibhya Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Ma Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Karamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyani Vasate Deshadari Mukam Karati Vacham Bangalanga Degre Vatam Deshi Gurum Dimtanam Paramanandamatam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nilachana Nivasa Nitya Paramatmane Balabhadra Shubhadrabhyam Jagannatha Ite Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, text number 35, chapter number 7. Translation: Lord Shri Krishna said, "O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has..." Excuse me. Okay. Releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. My apologies, there is a lot of sound everywhere. Yeah, there's some drilling holes and all that. So I'm just in a construction site. But I thought that I'll just connect and also have your association. Thank you for joining the Sunday morning program. So, looks like there is smaller glitch of misunderstanding. I don't know who did the Guru Puja, who's supposed to sing, but somehow I got the chance. Thank you. Here, it's a very important, actually, this entire chapter is a lot of instructions. Prabhupada explains in very deeper manner that how the Lord has described very, very vividly the main practice of what constitutes to the four varnas and four ashramas. He's already explained that in the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarna, Mayashta, Guna, Karma, Vibhagasha. These are based on guna and karma and not based on their birthrights. So here also Prabhupada emphasized and stating that a Brahmana who doesn't have the qualification, even though he's been born in a Brahminical family, can only be considered as a Brahma Bandhu or a relative of a Brahmana, but not as a Brahmana. But whereas in the other case, if someone is born in a non-Brahminical family by birth, but has those qualifications of being a Brahmana and has been practicing these Brahminical values, automatically he should be accepted and considered as a Brahmana by birth, as good as Brahmana by birth, because he has acquired those qualities. These qualities are already explained in the 18th chapter, right? Prabhupada explains this. The 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita has a lot of information. Samo, Damas, Tatiksham, Arjam, Mastikyam, Jnana, Vijnanam, Brahma, Karma, Swabhavajam. This is explained in the Gita by the Lord himself that what constitutes these beautiful qualities of being a Brahman. You should have the Samo, Damas, Tapas, Saucham, Mastikyam. Cleanliness. Prabhupada explains cleanliness itself is godliness. It's not next to godliness because these are qualities which are acquired by someone. It's not that if you have your tabletop or if your kitchen table is very dirty or is not kept and then you keep cleaning, that's an OCD. That's not cleanliness. Cleanliness means you should have those qualities by finding out the variation between what is good and bad, what is right to wrong, what is good for us, what is bad for us, what is sattvic practice, mode of goodness practice, mode of passionate practice, mode of ignorance practice. These variant factors which are constituted to the three modes of material nature, which is actually pulling us left, right, and center. If a person understands, analyze, Brahma iti jnana brahmanaha, it doesn't just implementally, it just immediately comes over. It comes in a way that Krishna explains this in the Gita, not only for someone else, he is explaining it to Arjuna himself and saying that, Arjuna, you better understand this. This guy is not a Brahmana, but a Brahma Bandhu. He does not have any qualifications of being called as a Brahmana. That's because he is not what he is. So because you can practically see he's killing the children who are less than even they have reached the matured age. Second, he is killing the children who are sleeping, innocent children who are sleeping. That's the second issue. The third issue is that he is actually doing this to please his master, who is Duryodhana, who is actually not very happy because this is the end of the entire Vamsha Vritti. Means his lineage is getting executed completely and he can't because at the end of the day, Kurus are nothing but the Pandavas plus the Kauravas. That makes the Kurus. The entire dynasty is getting completely demolished by this person, acting as if he is a Brahmana, even though he is by birth is a Brahmana, given the chance to be born in with the Droni and Dronacharya. But then he has practiced all kinds of nonsensical stuff that it has made him disqualify himself to be called as a Brahmana. So this is very, very important for us. We have to understand that Brahminical qualities are not simply available by wearing a thread. Brahminical qualities are not available by just being with some people who are born in a Brahminical family, but we need to acquire those supreme qualities. Brahmanas generally are in the mode of goodness, but you don't see that very often now at this point of time because they are not in a kind of framework. This is because Kalo Shudra Sambhava. It is like that. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry, I had to close the doors. So I was talking about these qualities which are going to be acquired by a person who has a lot of information which is very much needed. It can be from the Vedas, it can be from religious practices, it can be from Itihasas, it can be from Puranas, many, many variations. Prabhupada actually explains that there was a prime minister. We all know about it. Chanakya Pandit was a prime minister to Chandragupta Maurya's kingdom. But his constant practice was always very high in its nature in terms of his Brahminical classes. He never lived in a palace. He lived in his hut. And the kind of practice, kind of instructions he used to give to Chandragupta Maurya, it's unparalleled. He wrote brilliant books. And these are the kind of practices which make a person called a Brahmana. And there is another example in the Shastras about Vishwamitra. He was a Kshatriya by birth, but he started acquiring the qualities of Brahmin, and then he understood that that's more important for it. When he was disturbed by some of the demons, Rakshasas, called Tadaka, he did not take up a weapon to fight. He could, they have the qualifications, they have the caliber, they have got all kinds of mantra, tantra, visharadas. They have every single details, but still he approached King Dashrath. And then what did he say? That I need your son. I am not expecting you to come, but I need a son to fight out these demons, and we wanted to clear them. That is why a Brahmana is a Brahmana. He doesn't just do it. They are the people who give the guidance, guidelines to the entire society and the practices. But again, Vishwamitra also, when he went to Dasharath Maharaj's palace, they simply, even the king, he being the king, he owns the entire empire. He just simply got out of his seat and then said, please come, sir, please sit down. See the kind of practice that is Vedic in its nature. You don't get to see all these kind of things because normally you don't see those things at this point of time for the reason that people have just gone to the very tangential way of saying that I am born in a Brahmin family, I am born in a Kshatriya family, I am born in a Vaishya family, but I don't want to practice any of this because they are influencing. They are being influenced, they are being influencers, and they are trying to understand and analyze what is happening around the world that they consider the Western practice, right? We are seeing so many of these kind of things which is being bombarded on us. We are naturally being actually pulled here and there by the threads of material nature, right? If you see Bhagavad Gita in one of the pictures, it will show you like the gods and demigods, they are actually acting like they are puppeteers and they are pulling the living entities left, right, and center based on the modes of material nature. In the same way, Krishna is not giving a kind of a disillusioned advice. If Krishna gives an advice, that advice is called Veda Vakya, the words of the Vedas. Why will Krishna give a very statement, very important advice to eliminate this Brahma Bandhu? Prabhupada explains this very important point here, right? The word Brahma Bandhu is very significant here. Even though people or persons who happens to take birth in a Brahmin family, but he is not qualified to be a Brahmana, is called a Brahma Bandhu. He is not as a Brahmana. So Krishna is giving an advice. What is he saying? Oh Arjuna, do not show any mercy. Don't show any mercy by releasing this guy. He is a Brahma Bandhu. He simply killed the innocent children who are sleeping. So he is completely a misfit to his race. He is a complete misfit. He doesn't qualify for mercy case. Kill him. So this is the kind of a clear-cut instruction the Lord himself is saying. If you see, Krishna is extremely angry because we read about it in the previous verse, right? Bhagavan Ambuja. Ambuja means someone who has got a lotus side. Arvinda Dalayatasham. Arvinda Lochana, right? Rajiva Lochana. Ambuja Lochana. The Lord's eyes are beautiful, as reddish as the lotus itself. The flower petals of the lotus is slightly tinged with the reddish one. The Lord is the supreme Bhagavan, right? We have heard about this Bhagavan, Brahman in couple of places, right? So how do we understand the Supreme Lord? In three levels. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sabhyate. Right? Vadanti Tattva Vidastattam Tat Vijnanam Abhyayam, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sabhyate. First canto, first itself, in the first two chapters, all these things are described. And if you notice, right, a Kshatriya's duty is to protect the society. Brahmana's duty is to give the guidelines to the Kshatriyas and the other two more Varnas. The Vaishya's duty is to take care, safeguard the cows, the animal stock, and maintenance of all the financials and economics of this entire world. That's the Vaishya's duty. The Shudra's duty is to support the other three classes. Even during this entry, right, Parikshit Maharaj, when he was traveling all around his empire just to see how everything is going on smoothly, he could see that Kali was trying to kill a cow. Right? Maharaja did not spare. He immediately took his sword. Who are you? What are you doing? How can you kill a cow? What kind of a mistake did the cow do? That's the duty of the Kshatriya, to protect the entire citizens, whether it's a male, female, animals, or anyone for that matter. They are entitled for protection. And that protection only the Kshatriya can give. But the Brahmanas can only give the guidelines. They give the guidelines in such a manner that the Kshatriyas simply follow. But here is a situation that Ashwatthama was highly qualified. To be born in Dronacharya's family is not a small thing. But he did not utilize that good value of being born. This happens to all of us. We have taken up to a little bit of Krishna consciousness. I would not say we have taken about complete Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna consciousness is a lifestyle. And our complete acceptance must come in such a manner that everything which we do has to be pakka based on sadhu shastras and guru. We are not I would say that we are probably only maybe around 10%, 10 to 15% is what we have accepted Krishna consciousness. Because the acceptance of Krishna consciousness is much, much deeper. It's the values, it's the ethics, it's the way of life, it's the practice, it is the way in which we deal with others to be in Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are actually 100%, almost 100%, or maybe 100%. Why? Because we did not qualify ourselves to be born Krishna conscious. We had a chance, but we somehow missed it. But now we have taken up that process of Krishna consciousness in a much, much passionate manner. Many of the people who are those kids who have taken up Krishna consciousness and they have come up immediately to be in Krishna service, right? Automatically they know that, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be Krishna conscious. But we need to make that environment conducive for them. And in that practice, we have to be very conducive to accept the process of Krishna consciousness. That is Brahminical quality. Prabhupada explains that ISKCON is an institution which governs with the guidelines, which generates, which are formulating Brahminical class of life, Brahminical class of people. Their only thought process is to bring about a change or a revolution in the hearts of every single people in the entire world. That is why Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavatam, if you notice near the preface itself, Prabhupada writes it. Tadva visargo janadaga viplavo yasmin pratishkokya abhadyavtevuki. Navani esa nanti ketana sunvanti gayanti grananti sadhavaha. So these are qualities which only acquired by Brahminical people or qualities which are acquired in the mode of goodness. So this particular verse itself very much emulate that how important is to acquire these qualities of Brahminical class. It's really amazing to be called a Brahmana, right? It is not small thing. Many people, sometimes we go to some functions in some Brahmin families' house, they will have some Upanayana ceremonies. It's become like a get-together party. In the name of Brahminical qualifications to be called like I am going to give a thread ceremony to my son or to my grandson or something like that. But it's become just a get together that all the family members or the relatives, everyone come together. They laugh around for 5-10 minutes and then eat nicely and then say goodbye and go off. But then what happens to the boy who has taken up the process of Krishna consciousness through Brahminical quals? He needs to chant the Sandhya Vandana 3 times a day. It's very important because these are the qualities which are acquired by the practice, by the process. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanagamina. You cannot practice anything without practice. You cannot bring yourself as a change. Brahmaitik jnana is not Brahmana so easily. It is a step-by-step practice. The entire process is going to take us a lot of time, right? This is what Krishna consciousness is all about. How Lord Chaitanya explains this philosophy of Achinta Bheda Veda Tattva. Everything is in God and everything is God's decisions. So how it can be practiced, how it can be managed, is only from a beautiful representative of the Supreme Lord who is a Guru or a spiritual master. Tad Vijnanartham Sa Guru Eva Vigachet. Right? Manduka Upanishad actually explains this. Tadviti Pranipatena Pariprashnena Predakshantita Jnanam Jnanina Tattva. So we need to seek the personality who has seen the absolute truth, who knows the truth, who knows actually how to deal things with. When we are able to approach and get all these things, then our heart becomes completely satisfied. Savaya Punsa Paradharma Yato Bhaktir Adokshade Aituki Aprayatiyata Yayatma Suparasitati. That will come, that approach will come only when we have completely relinquished everything and accepted Krishna consciousness as our path of success. Because otherwise, we will consider ourselves a Hindu, we will consider ourselves a Muslim, we'll consider ourselves as a Christian or a Sikh or a Jew or whoever we call. Prabhupada explains all these are only designations based on religious practices. But whereas when person takes up to Krishna consciousness, he doesn't have anything else. Devotees are his family. Vedas are his mother. Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is his father. And what more you want? You don't have anything else. Everything else is being given as a spoon-feeded capsule. You just have to put the capsule on the spoon and then just put it inside with some honey on topping. This is what is a practice which needs to be done. Otherwise, we will actually end up not understanding the real meaning of this being called a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra. Right? Krishna is explaining many places, not just in one place. Right? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatirantaratmanam shaddavan bhadate yamam samayukto tamo mataha. Right? That is my opinion. You don't have to speculate. This is my opinion. And he says, this will not be accepted or this will not be brought in 1 or 2 days. It is Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudevam Sarvati Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. Right? 7th chapter Gita explains this also. That Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabhaha. You need to understand, million lifetimes it takes. Not 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. We are talking about, okay, I've come to Krishna consciousness, I am chanting 16 rounds, I'm following the 4 regulative principles. Now I am in cloud number 9. And next is Vaikuntha cloud. No, it won't happen that way. It's not just a one-way traffic. It's a two-way traffic. Krishna needs your surrender. Lord Chaitanya doesn't need your surrender. Krishna demands surrender. Ma mekam sharanam vraja. Ham tam sarva papebhyo. Mokshashami masucham. He says you surrender. But Lord Chaitanya is not like that. What surrender? No surrender. Simply chant Hare Krishna and be happy. That's all. When someone asked a question yesterday to His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj, he said, Maharaj, you have been doing a lot of service and Prabhupada disciples are doing so many services. We may probably not be seeing all Prabhupada disciples in the next 20 years, but you are all the ones who are actually promoting the complete Krishna consciousness to what we know at this point of time. So what is your personal instruction to us that we need to follow? Maharaj said simply only one thing, chant Hare Krishna and be happy and make others Krishna conscious. So why? Because the need of the hour is present. The need to understand Krishna consciousness is not just one day. It is a long life. We have to understand it that way. Here, the sloka itself gives us these details that Krishna personally has identified. See, if Krishna himself is telling, we should simply accept. That's the only rule of the Vedas. If Krishna is not present, we cannot say Prabhupada said this, Prabhupada, someone else said this, my guru said this, my uncle said this, my auntie said this. We cannot say that. Many of the times what we follow is we follow based on whatever we have just acquired or accepted through some way or the other, right? We have normally done that. Many times we have done that. That, okay, my grandmother said this, my grandfather said that. How did they know? They also did the same story. They would have probably heard from someone else. So that's come in a proliferating, cascading format. But the Shastras are not in that way. Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. So Krishna, if he is personally present, if he gives a guidelines, if he says an instruction, we simply accept. But if Krishna is not physically present, he is not the one who is opening his mouth, we have to hear from the Gurus, who are the direct representation of the Supreme Lord. That is Guru Mukha Padmavakya. Because we are singing that, no? Just 5 minutes back we sang. Right? Guru Mukha Padmavakya, Chitete Koriyakya, Arana Koriho Mane Asa. That is a fact. When Krishna is the one who is guiding, it becomes all smooth and so super safe. But Krishna is not physically present, then we should accept the instructions of the spiritual masters, and they are the ones who can guide us to the right way of what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. How should we follow the practice in that manner that everything becomes a smooth sail? If you are not in the position, then there is a small challenge. That means you are not ready to accept the surrender of your mind to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, or to the surrendering the Supreme Lord also is an issue. That we need to understand it. Yes, today we have been given this opportunity. Next moment, what will happen? Only Krishna knows. Absolutely none of us know. We cannot. We have to be very confident about the fact that we are living in a phantasmagoria world. Today, Krishna has given us a chance to breathe. Next moment, if Krishna decides, no, I'm not going to be in this body anymore, what can we say? We cannot question. We have to let go. We don't have a choice. The body will just simply collapse and fall. Even if you are a living entity, even if you push your case, Krishna, I want to stay in this body and enjoy my life more than just a few years. Let me have to stay. No, we cannot. So then we need to acquire qualities. These qualities are called Brahminical qualities. Then you will not be at any point of time get disturbed. We will not get disturbed at all because we have the Brahma Jnanam. Brahma Jnanam iti Brahmana. That qualification is already come to you. And you don't have to worry about it. But if you are not in a position to accept or understand, then there is a challenge. It's a serious challenge, not simple challenge. It's a serious challenge. If someone is telling you chant Hare Krishna, 16 rounds is mandatory, you cannot question the authority. Chanakya Pandit was questioned by Chandragupta Maurya. He immediately resigned. That is Brahminical quality. Brahmanas cannot be questioned. Why? Because they know the absolute truth in and out. They know it, what is right, what is wrong, and how they guide. They guide the society in such a manner that that perfection is reached. It will be achieved very easily if we simply follow some devotees who have got those kind of qualities. They might be very stern, they may be very strict, they might be something like a little rough. Not, I don't call it, in the Western world, they call it as rude, but it's not rude, it's a straightforwardness. There is two levels of understanding that. The first level, if someone is saying rude, that is very materialistic in its nature. Oh, you're being very rude to me. No, I'm not going to give you a comfort zone there because I know that you're making a mistake. So I'm going to be straightforward. So there is a second level, which is the straightforwardness. Straightforwardness means no hypocrisy. Something I'm telling you, but I'm not practicing. Because Lord Chaitanya says that first you do the achar, then the next you do is prachar. So you need to prachar only after you do the achar. You practice, you get convinced, then you start preaching to others. Yes, I am practicing. I am trying to do this. I am chanting Hare Krishna. I am practicing all that what has been told by Srila Prabhupada in his books. I am expecting the same from you also because I have got benefited. I would think that and honestly practice that you will also get benefited. That is the process, that is the practice, that is what Krishna is identifying the differences. And he is explaining further in the next few verses also. This is a very important aspect of understanding that Krishna doesn't differentiate or compromises in the practice and principles of the Brahminical class, because he loves the Brahmanas left, right, and center. And he loves the cows. That's why he's called Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagatitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namah. He is not a person who will compromise on these two people. So this kind of information, if it's coming through to us, we should grab it with 2 hands, maybe 4 hands also. But that will be very good for us, because it will guide us on a long run of our family life. Because we are living in a rented house. We are not living in our own house. So the rented house, the owner will come and say, okay, time up, you have to go, you got 1 month notice. So probably if you're lucky, you will give 1 month notice, or maybe 15 days notice, or even you may say next day itself we have to leave. Many cases happening like that, right? So we seek the Lord's mercy on us. We seek Srila Prabhupada's grace on us. We practice our Krishna consciousness. Take it enthusiastically. No compromise on Krishna conscious principle. The Sunday morning program is your complete battery charger. If you don't charge your batteries, I'm 100% sure that the battery is going to drain. And that what it means by draining is Maya, Aparayita Jnanam, Ashuram Bhava, Ashritaha. You will be easily stolen away by Maya. She will not easily allow you to practice Krishna consciousness among the devotees. She'll give you so many ideas which will take you away from Krishna, which will take you away, not just with away from Krishna, with the devotees. And then there is no way there is a platform for you to practice Krishna consciousness. You have to be very careful. Even with the devotees, you need to be very much carefully practicing how it is based on Sadhu Shastras and Guru, and not on sentimental and emotional levels. That is very, very important for us. When we do all these things, then we are in a secure space, right? Otherwise, it is not going to be so easy for us to overcome all these kind of impediments. We are struggling very hard with the 3 modes of material nature, struggling hard with the Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika. We are struggling hard with our own ways. We are struggling hard in the place where every single thing is only against us and not for us. So then how do we deal it? Only with these kind of support systems which we have in place. And very kind by grace of Srila Prabhupada, we have a very good platform. We need to bound on that, elevate ourselves with that practice, and then see how we can go forward. Okay, I'll stop here. If there is any questions, comments, reflections, or anyone wants to add on something, that's brilliant. We can always get a lot of new things to add on, new things to learn. Every step is a beautiful dance in the spiritual practice. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Open
Thank you,
for questions.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class. All the way from India. Thank you for
Who said I'm in India?
you, me.
Mataji, I'm in Malaysia.
Oh, sorry.
I'm joking,
Okay.
Mataji. I'm in India.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for
Yes,
taking time.
no problem.
Nice. Very nice class. The takeaway for me from this class is one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualification of a Brahmana, and one who can control mind and senses and who is inclined to the Vedic wisdom is a qualified Brahmana. Yeah. And thank
Very
you.
good. Your takeaway is good, but I hope that is implemented and by all of us. It's not just when I say something, I expect the same thing to be followed by myself. Otherwise, I will become a hypocrite. So it has to be practiced. And Prabhupada's institution is only meant for practicing these Brahminical qualities. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. This Satyam is not so easy to get, right? Satyam param dhimahi, right? What
Yes.
is the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam explains? Janmadhyasya tonmaya itarat ene brahma hridayadikave muyanti yet sureho. Right? That is Satyam Param Dhimahi. This is the ultimate absolute truth. It's not some bogus truth or 50-50, 40-60. 100% truth. So this is very important. Brahminical qualities are something everyone should just simply try for it. It's really divine. And in spiritual world, in Vaikuntha Loka, this Brahminical quality is the highest quality and there's no mode of ignorance and passion there. It's completely Brahminical, means 100% super goodness, Vishuddha Sattvam. So you can imagine how you will feel the happiness. In the food you feel the happiness, in the activities you feel the happiness, in the dealings of devotees you will feel happiness. There is nothing called hidden agenda in anything. Sometimes you will feel like, okay, I'm doing this, am I doing it right? Is the devotee going to feel good? Or is it something like that? No, I'm not sure. No, you don't have all these kind of questions at all. You naturally just live that life. That life itself is very divine in its nature. That's why you see, you can actually see that even in the temples, if we go to temples like Sri Rangam or any places like, you will see that kind of actual activity of happiness which will naturally come through. So that's very important for us to acquire. Yes, Sundara Prabhu, you had a question. I'm just myself for a minute.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Till Prabhuji comes, shall we all say Mahamantra?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram
Rama, Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Yes, Prabhu. Sundar Prabhu, you had a question. I'm sorry, I'm just coordinating for some devotees coming to Mayapur. So I'm just coordinating for them to come. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Vandana.
Pranams.
It's so nice class always and nice practical implementing and telling us. So it is very good. I had some small like while doing seva bhakti, sometime like we are floating in a maya, but we don't know sometimes. So how to?
No, you will know. When you are in Maya, you will know. It's not that you will not know. The act of Maya is only to make you float. If you are already floating, that means you are in Maya. If you are grounded, strongly strengthened yourself, you are not in Maya.
How to take care this in a congregation? Like suppose we are
Achar prachar. Don't talk about congregation. Achar prachar.
no.
Achar means if you practice, everyone will see you and they will consider, yes, see that devotee, that person is practicing. I want to take it. That will come like that. You see, the gutter in India, open gutter is there. Sometimes the water gushes. After some time, it gets stopped. Why? Because there's a lot of kachara. a lot of waste. But when the waste is removed, automatically the water will flow. So this is the same principle Prabhupada explains Ganga. In Ganga, when she is coming from the heavens, she has come to Gangotri, and then from there she is going to Ganga Sagar. On the way, so many different obstacles. There is dams, there is water, there is pebbles, there is rocks, but still Ganga doesn't differ. She will go slowly, concentratedly, powerfully, and she will reach Ganga Sagar. So this Prabhupada explains, Prabhupada is looking at a bigger vision. He is looking at a bigger picture that global wise Krishna consciousness should spread, right? Prithvi Ache Nagaradi Gram, both ways, right? Moranam can come only when Mahaprabhu himself is saying it should go to each and every town and village. But that can happen only when the devotee practices. By seeing a devotee practicing, automatically they will be very happy that to see that kind of a person, and automatically they will accept and they will practice. But we cannot give some kind of a guidelines for the congregation. It can happen only by the base of your practice. If you practice, if you are grounded very well, not whoever. When you're grounded very well, then automatically they will follow.
Thank you, bro. My question was not that one.
Mhm.
We are in a program or congregation things. People do nicely devotion service, but same time, we can observe some Maya things happening. So that time, how we have to strictly tell or
Yes, we need to tell them, no? They need to learn it. If you can't tell them, how will they learn it? That is why your Brahminical qualities come into picture. Brahmanas means one who identifies there is a fault. It is not for finding a fault, it is for improving our life. Right? That is why these Brahminical qualities come. Even whether it's in a program or in a house or in yourself, we need to identify that. Identification is not fault finding. Identification is to improve our statement of how we can lead a more Krishna centric life. So we must tell them. But it has to be told in a nice manner. But see, for example, if I tell you, hey, Sundar Prabhu, you are not doing this and you are not doing that, and you will probably accept, which is okay. You know why? Because you know me, I know you. But if you say the same thing to a newcomer, they will think, "Arey, ye kya yaar, aaj aaya, mere ko gali de rahe." Sorry, I'm speaking in Hindi. Right? He's telling me everything, and immediately he's telling me everything, do that, who will do it? He'll run away. But that is not the way. That is why Satyam Goyal, Prem Goyal. Softly, we need to tell that. Then automatically they will love it.
thank you.
Right? Okay, right. Okay. Anyone else? All right, good. No questions is good questions. I hope and pray that the Lord empowers all of us to practice as much as we can. Do not compromise on your Krishna conscious principles as much as follows. Please uh, don't compromise on anything else. Krishna conscious is our life, right? This is what we need to do. So don't ever compromise on it. Do it in a very strong fashion. If anyone has any challenges, any doubts, do not wait. Raise a red flag and say, Prabhu, I need a help. Mataji, I need a help. Someone or the other will come and help us. This is Prabhupada's movement. Prabhupada always wanted this. He wanted us to be very conscious and then become extra conscious. So let's try for that. Okay. Let's see also. If there is any announcements, anyone knows? Ayusha Mataji, is there any announcements from your side?
No, Prabhuji. As usual, Saturday there will be Kirtan.
Okay, good. Okay, brilliant. All right. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada. Hello, Hari Bol. We'll catch up soon. All right.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo. His Grace Vishal Grang Prabhu ki
Jai Prabhupada.
Jai.